Hey everybody, Mungo Dark Matter here, and today I thought I'd talk about why you should do the best you can at a job you really hate. So I was coming home today, I was out at the store, and when I arrived home, a package had arrived, and the UPS carrier had put it inside the screen door, and I thought, this is great. Because a lot of times the carriers just put the package on the porch when it's raining. I mean, I've had circumstances where something was dropped off and it's like it started raining really hard, and before I could get home to get the package, or even sometimes when I was inside and before I could get out to get the package would be soaking wet, the box would be soaking wet. Usually it didn't do anything to the contents inside. It hadn't been out there that long, but you pick up the box and it rips apart and it's just a mess. And it used to be they would stick them in plastic bags, and they still do occasionally. But a lot of times now they're doing so much work with Amazon.com and other online retailers, they drop the package off, and if it rains later in the day, even if it looks like it's going to rain when they're dropping it off, they don't bother to do anything about it. But I've noticed some of the packages recently, the UPS carrier has been putting them inside the door. And I don't know if it's different UPS carriers or the same one, but kudos to whoever you are, and kudos to anyone who delivers and puts them inside the door like that. Well, it got me thinking about doing a job well and why you would do a job well. And it also got me to thinking about times where I was annoyed by what somebody did, like they put a package out on the porch, and it's like raining. It's obviously going to get messed up, or at least soaking wet and annoying at the very least. And other people who do things like an example might be I remember when I used to get the newspaper, a lot of times the guy who delivered them would deliver a whole bunch of them and wouldn't even get out of his car, so he'd drive by and throw them into the driveway, and they'd go under the car sometimes, or they'd go wherever. And that's kind of a classic complaint. Even if you look at TV shows in the 50s, they would complain about the paper boy not getting the paper on the porch. But it really got worse when, there's like one guy doing thousands of these things. And I guess whoever's doing it feels they don't really have the time, or they're trying to do it really quickly. And if you're not getting out of your car to drop the thing onto the porch, the chance of it going elsewhere is relatively high, actually. Particularly if you're delivering it early in the morning in the dark. So that's another example of something that's very annoying, and I'm sure you have millions of examples yourself of stuff like that. Well, that makes an impression on people. So when you do a job like that, like if you're delivering papers, or you're delivering packages, or you're doing lawn work, or whatever you're doing, or you're working as a clerk in a store, if you don't care about the job, you don't like the job, and you act that way, people pick up on that. And if you have a good attitude and you do your job well, and you take the extra time to realize, hey, I should do it this way or that way, people really appreciate it. The other thing is, say you're delivering packages and you put them on the porch in the rain all the time. There's going to be a certain amount of people that are actually going to complain. So it's going to cause you more problems. And even if you don't like that job, you're going to like it even less when people are complaining about what you're doing. So if you do your job well, people are going to complain less. You might like it a little more. But the really, really important thing, I think, when you get a job and you're doing it, if you do it well and people see you do it well, you will actually get opportunities that you didn't think even existed. I know a lot of people out there right now may have a job they don't like, or they may need a job, so you might be looking for a job right now. So if you're at a job right now, make sure you're doing the best you can do. And if you're thinking of getting a job and you may end up taking something that you might not like temporarily, do the best you can do at that job. And I can give you an example from when I was in college. When I was in college, I needed a job. I had quit another job, and I needed a new job, so I was looking around for a job, and I decided to get a job on campus. And I saw a thing on a bulletin board said, "Hey, we need clerks to sell parking decals or parking permits or whatever." And so I said, "Okay, cool. That will do. I just I want a little bit of money, and I'm not in. It's not exactly what I would want necessarily." So I typed up a resume, and I went in and I gave the manager the resume, and she goes, "I'm sorry, we don't have that position's been filled." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, thanks. I appreciate it." And but she said, "Hold on a second." She took me to another manager who had some positions, and I ended up getting a job. And she told me later, she goes, "You're like the only person who brought in a typed in up resume into this job. Most people just fill out the application and just throw it in, write it by hand and throw it into the box or whatever." And she goes, "So I was so impressed by that, I had to get you a job." And I'm like, "Really?" And she goes, "Yeah." And that's always made an impression on me. Now, when I was working at the other job that I got from that was giving tickets out, which isn't something that I would necessarily choose to do. You walk around all day and you write these tickets out. You actually get a lot of exercise. It's really good as far as that goes. It wasn't a bad job, and I didn't really dislike the job, but I always had a pretty good attitude. But I'd have to do all sorts of different things. Like sometimes I'd have to direct traffic or put up little blockades so people wouldn't go in during an event or something else, and it could be pretty frustrating dealing with people who you have to give tickets. They're not going to like that. Not like that at all. Or you have to tell them, "Hey, you can't come in here because it's blocked off because there's an event going on," or this and that. And they always have an excuse for why they parked in a place that clearly says no parking, or they have an exception to the rule why they should be let in to a place that has to be blocked off for an actual purpose. So I did that job as best as I could, and I actually kind of enjoyed it, because if you have an attitude where you're going to enjoy the job, you'll probably enjoy it more. And in fact, a friend of mine that worked at that job we used to work together on different projects in that job, like, whatever, dealing with parking, putting up pylons and going around checking lots and stuff. And he used to say to me, he said, "The day is what you make of it. This isn't a very exciting job, but, you can really, it's you that has the opportunity to make whatever is going to happen in the day happen." And I've always remembered that too as I've gone through my working career. And so I remember I was working in some booth one day, giving people directions or giving them information, or maybe I was directing traffic. I can't remember. I think I was directing traffic for something, just in an area near an information booth. And someone who worked at the university came up to me and offered me a better job. They said, "You know what?" And this man had seen me before working at these different places where I was directing traffic or working on something, and so he kind of saw that I had a good attitude, I guess, and he offered me another job that paid even better. And in that job, I had to give out keys to people in the university. They'd come in with their little form, and I'd give them out the key, and I recorded it. And actually, that gave me even more opportunities, because what I ended up doing is I said, "You know what? We got all these things on index cards, and like this is the computer age. I can, I can put it on. I can put it on the computer." And they had actually gotten a computer to create a database of who had keys. And not only did I create that, but I created another database that actually kept track of what keys went to what room. So I kind of computerized the key distribution process, and that gave me further opportunities in the future. So anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, as they say. But if you have a job that you don't like, do the best you can at it, and you'll get out of there faster. You'll enjoy it more while you're there, and you'll find opportunities that you thought would never open for you. I'm Mungo Dark Matter, and this has been Dark Matters, and whatever you do, enjoy the day, and I will see you next time. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.